Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing in our top story. The Virgin Islands Fire Services and the Virgin Islands Rescue Services, they are two separate entities. However, both services have entered into a first respond collaborative venture that will officially begin tomorrow on July 12th. And in preparation to provide better and quicker response time to emergency situations, the two services underwent extensive training to aid motorists. News 2's Stephanie Brown has details.
Clifford Joseph, the Director of Fire Services, affirmed that the Virgin Islands Rescue and the Virgin Islands Fire Services will work collaboratively on emergency response vehicle extrications. Joseph stated that his standards for the local fire services was heightened after witnessing recent training exercises in the territory.
But the Vigilant Guard was an eye-opener for myself. A week later, we had Caribbean Chief Conference. That's where I sat and I met each one of the rescue chiefs.
The overall goal of the collaboration is to improve response time on vehicle extrications and other emergency situations.
You'll hear me say collaboration a lot because that is what it takes. It's not just one agency working, but when we work together, it works best for the people of the Virgin Islands.
To minimize injuries that victims in a vehicle accident may have received, a number of steps must be taken by first responders.
Firefighters were trained in extrication, rapid extrication, removing facial, vehicle stabilization, assisting with EMS.
According to the Fire Service's Deputy Chief of Training, firefighters received over 200 hours of training in extrications in each district, and about 95% of firefighters are in compliance.
You have three levels of training. You have the awareness level, you have the operational level, and you have the technician level. Every firefighter, let me be clear, excepting for those who just joined the fire service within the last 2 years, are trained to the operational level.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Now, during the press conference, Vitima was thanked for their support in covering expenses for some of the firefighters to attend the emergency response training on the mainland. In other news, the delayed work to enhance the Shalamali's Main Street should take about another year to complete, and Public Works is currently reassessing this project to determine the way forward. Public Works Commissioner Gustav James told senators during an oversight hearing on Monday at the Senate. Plans for the $10 million project began at least as far back as 2010. In 2013, former Governor John DeYoung Jr.'s administration put the work out to bid. Tip Top Construction won that bid. There have been several delays, including the Federal Highway Administration's announcement that it had suspended funding for the work, saying contractor Tip Top Construction had improperly subcontracted management and bonding to another company, Prestige Building Company, in breach of federal oversight requirements. It's suspending funding for the work indefinitely pending a resolution of the problem. Well, that problem was resolved, but rain damage and erosion after digging caused delays. Xerox, a subcontractor, had sued Tip Top, saying they were not paid for contracted work, among other things. Tip Top countersued, saying, in effect, Xerox did sloppy work, and that cost money to fix. Now, work on the Turpentine Run Bridge, in another update, the long abandoned bridge to nowhere on St. Thomas, as we reported, is presently under construction. Now, when complete, the work will connect the bridge to the road system, improving traffic. Then, removing the old bridge, they say, will reduce flooding in the Nada community. That's $12.5 million project that is scheduled for completion by the end of the year. In another update, residents of the North Star Village will be happy to hear some relief will be coming their way, as work on the road is scheduled to begin tomorrow. Potholes has caused some problems for motorists, and the roads are also very dilapidated, crumbling. Assistant Department of Public Works Commissioner Roan Creaky said that the work is scheduled to begin on Wednesday. Be sure to count on 2. Coastal zoning permits and the status of road projects were also some of the main topics that were reviewed at the legislature's committee hearing on Monday. AT&T, one of the world's largest telecommunications company, requested to extend a permit that was issued in 1995 for a term of 20 years. If the new terms between the local government and AT&T are approved, 5 tubes protecting the company's communication cables will bring the territory $250,000 a year. Further, Senator Hansen spoke about wrongful terminations, going back to news from the Department of Public Works during that committee hearing. Here's more.
That they are getting terminated without even a hearing. And I brought this issue to your attention. You looked into it, and in fact, you brought back those employees to work.
The track and complex, how is that going?
Senator, I can only say that it's going forward, and I know that it's progressing because I've seen the inspection reports from my people, but I have not been out to the track myself. There's worth of projects here, and we're doing our best to complete them. The fact is that, like I mentioned earlier, we could easily use $50 million for neighborhoods, and for major highways, we've identified $200 million that we could use in this territory. This territory is far behind in terms of road construction and maintenance. So we're doing what we can, and Casper Holstein just didn't make it to the current list, but we'll definitely try to get to it in the next group.
Well, as we shared yesterday, the governing board of the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority, they met. Executive Director Julia Reimer told the board that the additional manpower and other resources are required to supplement the authority's personnel to ensure a safe and expedited restoration of electrical service after a hurricane or other natural disaster impacts the authority's transmission and distribution systems. The agreements with the emergency response contractors will assist WAPA with restoration of service after a windstorm or other natural disaster. The board approved WAPA negotiating agreements with 3 companies: BBC Electrical Services Inc., Sumter Utilities, and Service Electric. The board also approved 2016 electric and water systems audited financial statements, allowing WAPA to issue debt and provide financial information to the investment community. And of course, as we shared on Monday, the board approved bond anticipation notes of up to $85 million for new generators. The board's unanimous approval of all items came at an emergency meeting that was held on St. Thomas. Well, time for the Crime Stoppers report. Now, remember, you can earn reward for your tips, and police say be sure to call 1-800-222-TIPS if you have information that can help lead to an arrest. Here's more.
June 25th at approximately 11:15 p.m., St. Thomas police officers responded to the area of Estate Lurkenland in reference to a gunshot victim. Upon arrival on the scene, officers observed an unresponsive black male with what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds about his body. The male was pronounced dead on the scene by EMTs, and he was identified by next of kin as Vascott David, 22 years old. Please help police solve these cases. Please contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, that's 8477, or www.crimestoppersvi.org or www.p3tips.com. Crime Stoppers pays up to $2,500 for information leading to an arrest, seizure, or drugs or weapons, and recovery of stolen property. If you see something, say something.
Also, on Monday, July 10th, officers, units from the Richard Colwood Command, they traveled to the Roy Leschenschneider Hospital relative to an assault victim. Police say upon arrival to the hospital, units made contact with the physician on duty who informed them that the victim appeared to have sustained trauma to her head and brain injury. Officers were unable to obtain any information from the victim at the time due to her injuries. Well, sad to say, on Tuesday, July 11th, officers received notification that the victim succumbed to her injuries. Preliminary investigation revealed that a concerned citizen called the 911 emergency call center and reported an unconscious female in contact in the vicinity of the former Michelle Motel. The female, who was later identified as 47-year-old Nyla Peel, was transported to the hospital via ambulance. Now, they say anyone having information regarding this incident, you're asked to contact the Major Crime Unit at 340-774-2211, extension 5569 or 79. They can also contact 911, Crime Stoppers VI, or the Chief's Office at 340-715-5548. Well, Donald Trump, president, taken to Twitter, releasing the email chain that led to a meeting last June with a Russian lawyer who he was told had a compromising information about his father's campaign rival, Hillary Clinton. The chain shows that prior to the meeting, he was told the information was, quote, part of Russia and its government's support for Mr. Trump. The emails adding to mounting controversy about possible ties between the Trump campaign and Russia. Trump Jr.'s release of the emails came moments before they were published by the New York Times. The Times first reported the existence of Trump Jr.'s communications with Rob Goldstone, a music publicist who entered the Trump orbit via the Miss Universe pageant in Russia in 2013. Goldstone brokered the meeting last June between Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer who Goldstone said could offer, quote, some official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary and her dealings with Russia. According to the emails released by Trump Jr., he replied, if it's what you say, I'd love it. Some good news on the job front. The Labor Department says the U.S. economy added 222,000 jobs in June, and that's more than economists were expecting, and that the 81st consecutive month for job gains. The unemployment rate did rise slightly to 4.4%, but it's just about its lowest level since 2001, and wages grew 2.5% in June compared with a year ago. That's better than in prior years, but below the 3.5% goal set by the Federal Reserve. Let's take a look at the numbers there. We can see the Dow up, NASDAQ up 16, S&P 500 down just a slight. Coming up on News 2, we have Caribbean news, and we feature another summer camp. All of that is coming up. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Turning our attention to Antigua for a Caribbean report. Money laundering, terrorist financing, and other financial threats. They are the subjects of discussion for an annual financial workshop that's being held at the Sandal Grand Resort. Here's more.
Regional stakeholders are participating in an annual financial workshop tackling money laundering, terrorist financing, and other financial threats. The two-day seminar began today and is being held at the Sandals Grand Antigua Resort and Spa, as we hear from Jamie Roche.
Senior compliance and anti-money laundering executives from 10 territories have gathered in Antigua and Barbuda for the 9th annual AML CFT Anti-Fraud and Financial Crimes Conference. The two-day seminar, being put on by Core Management Services Limited, is being held under the theme Leading the Way to Strategic and Effective Compliance Amidst Challenges and Uncertainties. Chief Executive Officer of Core Management Services Limited, Kem Warner, said the Caribbean countries must work together in the fight against financial crimes.
Governments doing it alone individually in the Caribbean, and financial institutions operating in silos, without empathy for each other and without principles of regionalism, can be nothing short of counterproductive.
CEO of the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, Brenda Shepherd, also offered remarks at the opening ceremony. She noted that stakeholders should focus on the benefits derived from various legislative and regulatory reforms that come about as part of compliance requirements for various frameworks.
We should always be willing to adjust our thinking when circumstances change. Our livelihoods are being threatened, or even when our jurisdiction's reputation is being tainted by inaccurate perceptions being hyped as facts.
Commissioner of the Inland Revenue Department, Ralph Warner, outlined Antigua and Barbuda's efforts to improve its compliance ratings. One of the main objectives of the seminar is to promote a well-regulated financial system by providing pertinent and industry-specific information to participants. it's left to be seen how effectively the region will be able to tackle those financial challenges.
Turn our attention back here at home. The opportunity to listen to some feedback from veterans and family members regarding services provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs. That's coming up. The VA Caribbean Healthcare System and Virgin Islands Office of Veterans, they're holding a Veterans Town Hall meeting this Thursday, July 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Department of Education's Curriculum Center in Estate 22 St. Thomas. The venue also serves as a forum for the VA to provide information about the latest on healthcare services, choice program, compensation, pension, and memorial benefits, among other topics. Officials from the Department of Veterans Affairs Administration out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, will be in attendance to provide information and answer questions that veterans may have. In advance, you can call 340-774-8387, St. Thomas, St. John, if you have any questions. The St. Thomas Yacht Club is where we headed to, out on the seas, to find this summer camp. The popular summer camp is right now in its 4th week. These students have learned all the basics. They're also learning all sorts of great skills in addition to sailing, like tennis, balloon tossing, and sand sculpting. The camp counselors, they're having fun as well. Here's more.
Focuses obviously a lot on sailing. We take the kids out at least twice a day sailing. They rotate between sailing, playing tennis. We do a lot of team activities, different games we play, arts and crafts. It's a wide variety of different things. We also work on a lot of teamwork activities, team building skills. Yesterday we had some flamingo races. That was pretty cool. And yeah.
A good job there by our campers. Now, the 2 boats nearly swapped places on the leaderboard during the 3rd and final day of the fishing of the 54th July Open Billfish Tournament that was hosted by the Virgin Islands Game Fishing Club. And in the end, it was Sodium that earned top boat, and the 75-foot Weavers owner and angler Chad Dameron, who won top angler with 6 blue marlin releases. By midday release tally was about 5 blue marlin for Sodium and 4 for Never Say Never, a 72-foot Merit owned by Jim Carr of Coral Gables, Florida. Never Say Never won top boat, and one of its anglers, 15-year-old Zachary Zach Merck of Davie, Florida, top angler in the 2016 event. For his top angler win, Dameron will have his name engraved on the prestigious Captain Johnny Harms Give Him Line trophy. Dameron's 6 blue marlin releases were 9 fish short of earning this year's new prize, $25,000 cash for catching and releasing 15 blue marlin during the 3-day tournament. Never Say Never, helmed by Captain Eddie Herbert, they finished second in the top boat standings with 5 blue marlin releases. Now, just something to put on the calendar. The Carlos Aguila match race, the organizers are pleased to announce that the St. Thomas USVI-based event will be hosting the Women's International Match, that racing series finale. That's November 30th to December 3rd. It's presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism. It's known for bringing some of the best international match racing talent from America's Cup veterans to Olympians to sail in the scenic yet challenging Charlotte-Amalie Harbor. A strong contingent of teams, they're expected to compete for the highly coveted 2017 WIM Series. Title teams represent the 5 continents north of North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. The Virgin Islands Sailing Association and the St. Thomas Yacht Club, they are the organizing authorities for the CAMR, which is in the namesake of the late Carlos Aguilar, who was an avid sailor. USVI Hotel and Tourism Association, they held a ceremony to recognize this year's scholarship recipients. 4 students were awarded scholarships, $2,500, based on their dedication to hospitality as well as their academic and extracurricular achievements. And in 2014, the scholarship was posthumously named in honor of Lorette Reish, the honorary member on the board of directors and generous scholarship contributor. She was passionate about education and donated much of her time to building the scholarship fund. Here's more.
We have the hospitality degree program at the University of the Virgin Islands, and actually our first four-year graduating class was last year. So we're 2 years into bringing these students all the way through the program, and this scholarship allows us to be able to aid these students to come into our industry and flourish in our industry. So we're very proud of each and every one of them, and we wish them much success.
I'm so pleased today to be a part of this presentation. We have 5 lovely young people here today, and I'm also very pleased to see that we have 4 gentlemen among the group. And that is exceptional for me for this year. It's 80% of the scholarship this year. Of course, that's not to negate the nice lady that's there also, who's also, part of it, but it's just nice to see some of the young men as part of this.
It's really a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to learn about the young people here in the Virgin Islands who have a passion for and enthusiasm for tourism and hospitality. It is, after all, our key industry. And these are the young people who will make it great. They are coming back to the Virgin Islands, or they're staying in the Virgin Islands, and they're going to be part of this industry and be leaders and participate wholly and with all of their hearts and their talents. And I'm looking forward to great things from them.
Well, congratulations to our students, and tomorrow be sure to tune in. We'll have the names of the students for you. Well, you have a passion for fashion? Fashionista drew many who love fashion, hair, music, and culture. Many hit that runway to show off various designs, and clothes were represented for every age level and various sizes. It was very entertaining with music from K. Victoria and young model and CEO of her own company, Egypt, who also showed off her designs. Dr. Reba Renee Perry, CEO and founder of Diva Dynasty magazine and a Queen D of East Coast Radio, were there. Just to name a few, there were many visiting models from the States as well as our local models showing off some of the stateside designs as well as local designs. The kickoff night was Saturday and was Friday rather, and Sunday was the Fashionista at the MCM Center. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, we certainly have some wet weather here across the islands. We have 2 things going on. First of all, we have this. This used to be a tropical depression here last week. Now it is falling apart, and it's really just a tropical wave. It is moving to the north and east of the islands, but we are still seeing some wet weather and an increase of clouds because of it. So in places, we could see some downpours. If you're under some of these colorful blobs here, that's the precipitation. We could see downpours, or if you're on the other side of town, it could just stay dry. So we're really seeing kind of a mix of things happening here. Tonight, 79 degrees, that's going to be the low, with a shower or 2 should be expected pretty much anywhere. In St. John tomorrow, 90 degrees with a shower or 2. Same story here for St. Thomas, 90 degrees with a shower or 2 as well. St. Croix, we could still see a shower or 2, although it could stay a bit drier there than other places. 89 degrees for the temperature. Now, taking a look at our Atlantic forecast for our marine, waves are 2 to 4 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. We don't have any advisories to tell you about. We don't have any gusty winds, and the waves are really just typical for this time of year, despite that wet weather. Same story for the Caribbean, 2 to 4 feet, winds out of the east from 10 to 15 knots. So we certainly don't have any advisories there either. Now, later on, what's going to happen is Thursday, we have a second tropical wave heading in our direction. When that approaches, we're going to see more wet weather as well. So this pattern of a shower or 2, potential for downpours in places, will continue, but we'll certainly have sunshine as well, mixing in with a couple clouds. Temperatures right around 90 degrees all week long for our high temperature. Sandy, back to you.
Okay, thank you for that. Time for our news and weather picture there by Hector Pimentel, second grader, representing I'm guessing St. Croix. Hector, thank you for that picture there. We got some sunshine, clouds, and blue skies. Thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather pictures to your address on the screen and tune in to see it right here on News 2. Stick around. We have much more straight ahead. News 2 Sports comes your way next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Basketball fans, your moment of triumph is at hand. Beginning tomorrow, it's the FIBA Women's Championship in the Central Basket Tournament right here at UVI. Now, the first game tomorrow is at 3 o'clock with the Bahamas taking on Mexico. The second game at 5:15 is Jamaica taking on Puerto Rico, and the nightcap, 7:30, Virgin Islands Women's National Team taking on Guatemala. Now, lucky us, we were fortunate enough to catch up with a couple of the VI Hoopsters team, a couple of members taking time out on the eve before their game. Take a listen.
It's always an honor to be chosen to play, especially there's many girls that can be chosen, and to be the one that's chosen out of thousands of girls is always a great opportunity and a great honor to get chosen to play on a women national team. When I found out about the tournament, I've been telling my family and friends, so obviously it's like everybody is anxious and excited about that opportunity, and just having fun out there in front of your home crowd and doing what you want to do, doing what you love to do, playing in front of your family and friends is always a great opportunity, so it's a real exciting moment. Obviously we expect to win the gold. We say oro every practice. That's gold in Spanish, so we're trying to win that on the home court and just have that great feeling to just go out and play and see what we could come up with, and if we don't place for gold, we top 3 so we could qualify to go Argentina.
I'm grateful for the opportunity because I remember trying out last year and I didn't make the team. So this year when Lisa was like, "You're ready now, you're ready now," I was like, yes, okay, now I could play. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity. You don't just get a rush like at the beginning of every basketball game. You just hear, especially since we home now, it's gonna be like everybody screaming for us instead of against us. So our coach, they expect us to win, and we expect to win. So at the end of practice, beginning of practice, whenever we huddle, we just say oro, which is gold in Spanish. So yeah, we won the gold medal. Come out and support Virgin Islands women's national basketball team. Bring your family, your friends. Everybody should support, man.
All right, now that's 5 days worth of games beginning tomorrow, July 12th. Last game is being played on July 16th, and lucky for us, all the VI games are being played at 7:30. So there's no excuse not to actually be here, be part of the hometown crowd, cheer the VI on as they try to capture that gold medal. Sandy, back to you.
Oh, we didn't see that clip. Thank you for that, and be sure to go out and support. That's all for this edition of News 2. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. We'd like to say thanks to the St. Thomas Yacht Club students. They're doing a great job. I'm Sandra Guman saying have a wonderful evening.